Welcome to Talit Sufra, Dinner Table, Common Grounds. I want to ask a question to Ilhan Omar. I know that it's none of my business and she is way up there. She doesn't even know I exist. But I'm an immigrant. I'm originally from the Middle East and I'm an Arab. So when September 11 happened and I knew that my people, the people I belong to, did what they did, those atrocities, those crimes that they committed for humanities, I felt compelled to be a better person, no matter what it is, and showcase that. I wanted the whole world to know that there are good Arabs. I've lived in this country all these years, and I've loved everything about this country, and I follow the laws. I abide by everything that this country, you know, gives us. And I want the people to know that. There were so many, if you remember then, in 2001, it wasn't like this where there's a lot of protections to minorities, even though they were, but people, it wasn't as big and obvious as they are now. So minorities were being hurt, Arabs they were harassed. A lot of things were happening at that time. And and for me and everybody else I know from the Arab world here in the United States, all we wanted to do is reach out and showcase that those are those are criminals. They did their vicious act and we condemn it. They don't belong to us. They have to be anything that the United States and the world can do to basically show them justice. They should, and we support the United States for doing that. That's how I always felt. I still feel that way. Of course, I'm always defending the United States as a country and defending the these kind of issues, especially when right now everywhere you look, there's some kind of Arab committing some kind of act of crime, which I hate, but at least I've got to show the people of the United States and the people around me in my community that there are good Arabs, and I'm one of them. And not everybody is like the ones that committed those crimes. And here I see this representative, Ilhan Omar, from Somalia. She's gorgeous, beautiful lady, very smart, speaks very eloquently. She says wonderful things, but she does not say, hey, this thing that happened in Minnesota was a huge crime against a lot of the kids. This is almost a terrorist act for stealing all this money. However they stole it, it doesn't matter. But there's an estimate of $1 billion to $2 billion that's lost that was supposed to go to small, like young kids, and they did a lot of deceit, and there was a lot of issues there. And I'm sure that the criminal justice is processing everything, and they're going to be found guilty, and they're going to be put in jail. And I don't know how much of that money is going to be retrieved, but regardless, that part of it is happening. But what I don't understand is why Ms. Omar, I don't know, I heard on the news ex-husband, so I'm going to say that she's Ms. Omar. Why isn't she saying anything bad about those people? Why is she like almost trying to say that that's not a crime, or she's not standing there and saying those people did something very wrong, and I'm gonna help all the authorities to find them and to prosecute them and put them in jail and get the money out of them. No matter what, we can sell their whatever properties they bought. We'll go after them everywhere. Why is she still holding herself as someone who belongs to that group, or that minority group, and not an American who wants the justice system to take its course? I don't understand that. I think that she would be in a lot better place herself. She would feel much better. The United States will feel much better. Even if people loved her before, when they see her defending, almost defending, I don't think that she's defending like literally, but I think she's almost trying to like hit the issue and try to put it on the other side or say something in, because she's being interviewed all the time. So I see her being interviewed by CNN, by, I don't think that she was interviewed by a lot like the right side, but I know that the left side media has interviewed her, and she's not deflecting. She's only deflecting the issue and saying that, Minnesota this and the Somalis this and whatever. Of course, everybody is going to be saying negative things and horrible things about the Somalis communities. Of course they will. Give them that. Join them. Say that this is horrible and I'm not going to stand for it. Whoever commits a crime has to be punished. Say that. That you live so more like you live freely if you do that. That's how I feel about it. That's what I did, and I didn't do it on purpose. It just felt that that's what I'm supposed to do. When someone commits a crime, obviously they should pay the time. They should commit the time. But when you don't do that, when you start there and say, oh, and there were a lot of people, by the way, doing that during the September 11th thing. They were saying, well, the Oklahoma bomber was a white American. Why didn't anybody say anything about that? Why was it just now? Because they're Arabs. You're focusing on that. That's none of my business. That guy went to jail, and these people are going to go to jail. Whoever commit the crime. But if someone belongs to my tribe, my group, and does something wrong, I'm going to call him out on it. I'm going to be extra harsh on him. And that's because I want my community to be the most excellent community in this country. I want to be highlighted that the Arab American group of this country have done wonderful things to this country. I want to highlight how wonderful we are. When I'm out there talking about, well, why aren't you calling so-and-so as Columbine? Why aren't you calling them as terrorists? Why are you only calling us terrorists? Why? It doesn't matter. Those people are going to be catching and getting their whatever they deserve. I don't care about that. I care that when someone from my community does something, I'm going to call them out and I'm going to say negative things about them, and I'm going to say that's wrong and they should be prosecuted. And Ilhan Omar, I don't hear her say that. I hear her just talking about how, very, very lightly about they did wrong. She doesn't say in the most aggressive way, these guys have committed crimes and they should be, prosecuted. Of course, the government is going after the governor too, and they're trying to blame everybody and anybody who's Democrat. And that's a game that the politicians will always play. But Ilhan Omar can be someone that's regarded as a very good citizen, someone who's conscientious, someone who loves this country, someone who wants to protect this country. If she would only step out of it as a Somali and say, you know what, that was a very bad crime and we need to fix it. I heard today somebody on the news who is anti-Ilhan Omar, who wants her deported. She's not going to be deported. She's a citizen. But as a citizen, I'm thinking that that's what I would do. I would stand there and say, do not in the slightest way say anything positive about what happened. Of course, she's not saying that. But also go in the most vicious and most harsh way and say what happened was bad, wrong, and should not be happening. And if these people were Somalis or not, I don't care. I'm responsible. I'm a representative of this area, and I'm not going to allow a crime of this magnitude take place and be and I'm associated with it. I am, I'm a Somali American, and I'm not going to let that happen here in this area that I represent. It's simple. It's very simple, and it frees you up. Representative Ilhan Omar, it will free you up if you stand there and you condemn it in the harshest way possible and say, this is a crime, I'm not going to stand for it, and they should be prosecuted. Even when she's trying to say something similar to that, she's saying it very lightly. She's not defending it, but almost defending it. Like, well, yeah, when this happens and the whatever happens, she's not coming out and saying, for heaven's sake, this is wrong. I am not going to allow this to happen in my area. Not only that I represent the Somali community, which is who I represent, and who's the most, who are the people who are being prosecuted are the majority of them are from Somalia, but also I represent this area as a whole. So this area is my area, and I want to protect it. When someone takes $2 billion out of it, that's a lot of money. And I want it back because we have a lot of projects that we can use that are useful for our community, for our people, for our kids, feeding the kids, everything that we can do with these $2 billion. And I don't care if anybody, whoever is part of this, take them to jail and prosecute them. But I want to make sure that as an American, I want to protect this area, and I want to make sure that it's ran the right way, and I'm not going to let that happen. Now, Representative Omar is not doing it. I personally, when I did that, like I said, I wasn't doing it on purpose. I was just myself feeling like I've got to do this. I have to showcase Arab people. Before that, I didn't care about showcasing the Arabs. I just thought that Arabs are fine, but when I don't know how many of them, there were 19 of them that committed that crime in September 11. Then from that point on, it's my mission to show the world that they're wonderful Arabs. They're great Arabs. The history of Arab is good, and the future of Arab is good. And it's up to me to showcase that, to show the whole world that we are people of very good origin, very good heart, generous people who are very thankful that the United States had given us a life there is no way we could have lived had we stayed in our countries. And at least now we are given the freedom and the liberty to live the way we want to live, and we appreciate that very much, and we want the whole world to know it. There's nothing wrong with that. Believe me, it frees you up, it gives you a lot more love from the community. It gives you a lot more happiness, and from the inside, the joy comes from within. And I think that's what everybody in the world should do, that when one of their own commits a bad crime, whether it's just stealing a pencil or killing people like they did in September 11. Thank you.